And the first thing I like to do with the knife is I start to move the knife like far away from my body. Yeah, I don't move it like a martial artist. I don't move it. I move it like it's not there. So you can do an interesting experiment. Use the hand that doesn't have the knife and move it around. Right? Move it around your body any which way you like. Okay. And then take the one with the knife and move it around. Now you're going to feel the weight difference because the knife has a little bit of weight, but try to find a way of moving the knife or your arm where it comes as close as it can to feeling nothing in it. Now is a good time. Just show you my grip. Now is a good time to understand to grip the knife only with the amount of pressure you need so that it doesn't come flying out. So I'm not gripping it very tight. I'm holding it just tight enough, and you can see some of my fingers are quite loose, right? I'm holding it light enough that it won't fly out of my hand if I give it some speed or give it some movement, right? So I realized actually I don't need to hold the knife very tight at all, to be honest with you. Like I've got it like that right now. Like it's I a couple of fingers, that's all I really need, right? So I start to make some nice movements, big movements. Yeah, they're not small, but they're big movements. Now, you could think about just moving your arm, or you could think about maybe, I don't know, think about 5 or 6 people around you, and you have to keep everybody at bay. So it's like you have to cover a distance all around you. So 360 degrees, right? And I like to pass, study how to pass the knife from one hand to the other hand. Okay. Now, it's easy now, or not so difficult now, but later on, if there's people around you, you'll see that it gets a little bit tense. So I like to move my arms. I'll do this with my eyes open, but then I'll also try to close my eyes as well and just feel the movement. So the knife is really far from my body. It's at the farthest point I can make it. And I'm just covering 360 degrees around me while my eyes are closed. Awesome. Good. So this kind of like like martial arty, like I'm not stabbing, I'm not like practicing like my, movements that, seen in a movie or something. But I'm starting off with just moving the knife and moving my body, much like I had nothing in my hand, and trying to make that feel the same. Okay. This is fundamental because believe me, the movements that you're studying right now are the most dangerous movements on the street. That is the most barbaric situation you could come across, is a person that is untrained with a knife. It's just flailing. This is unpredictable. This is truly unpredictable. Okay. The ones you see like this, at least you have some point of reference, something like this, you have a point of reference. But this kind of stuff, it's very dangerous, right? Super dangerous situation. And there's many training classes I've done where a person is doing this and another person has to go in and take them down. That's really difficult. Now you get an even glimpse of what it's like to be a bodyguard, a security guard, a cop. Very difficult. So this is actually really funny training. It's not martial art, really, but it is super dangerous as far as I'm considered, okay? But you start far away. That's the key. You start far away. Now we're going to go the complete opposite way. The knife is going to start to come really close to the body, okay? And it starts to trace your body as close as you can, right? As close. So in this case, yeah, it's about an inch or two off. And the idea is you never stop, and it goes across all parts of your body, okay? And you can have a couple images in your head. Imagine something like you're going through the forest or something, and your shirt got caught up on a branch, and you just take it off, right? It's the same in real. If somebody grabs my arm that I didn't want to grab them, and I had my knife, it's just like that. You just you take it. You know your body so well. Your measure. See, your measure is perfect, right? You didn't like cut yourself, so you should know exactly the level you feel. This is a little too close. This is a little too far. Somewhere about an inch around your body, and you do it everywhere, around your arms, around your neck, and you're really looking for under your legs, above your legs, as far along your back as you can, right? And you just start moving all around your body. You can go slow. Slow is actually much harder. The medium speed is a little bit more comfortable. Slow is you realize that it's trickier. It was funny when I did my motorcycle course. I actually found when they made us use the bike at a slow speed, it was much more difficult than it was at a medium speed. You know, the weight of the bike starts to weigh with you. When you get it going, the bike actually becomes lighter and easier to manage. And I'm not talking super fast, but you know, 20 to 30 kilometers is, you know, you can see all the problems in your riding. I don't know if other people have found that, but I find when you get the bike going a little bit, it's easier to handle. But the knife starts to move a little bit faster. When it goes slower, you kind of lose. For me, sometimes I touch myself too much. And make sure you're switching hands. And you can even switch to different grips, right? Like it'd be like reverse grip or. Now try it with your eyes closed. Try with your eyes closed. Yeah. Don't worry. If you have a real knife, okay, maybe a little bit of worry, but generally eyes closed. Yeah. As close as you can, and try to see where the hiccups are. Like, you know, it really, in theory, should be no difference because it's too close for you to see anyway. So it shouldn't feel too bad. Okay, good, good. So these drills are all fundamental, guys. They're fundamental. These are things that you can do at home to increase the time that when you come to class and you do knife work, you've already put this foundational stuff. You understand how to move the knife close to you. You understand how to move the knife far to you. You understand what it feels like when the knife is close to you. You understand how to reach different parts of your body with the knife. You start to increase the comfort level with which you have the weapon, okay? Now what I want you to do is try to, like if you see me now, see how the knife is gone? Like, so it's like behind my arm, right? Yeah. And then show it. And then hide it. And then show it. And you can try it with the different hands, right? Hide it, show it. Hide it, show it. And try to make that that kind of transition easy, like see with one hand here and how I so you do with the same hand, right? And what's nice about this is you start to learn how to move the hand from one grip to the other grip, because that's also a skill, right? You might, this grip, this way of holding it might be advantageous. This way might be more of it. This to me, very barbaric. This is real serious work. If you see somebody with a knife like this, they're not playing around, okay? Like this, they just want you maybe to stay away, right? Maybe. Like this, there is no defensive aspect. This is like, yeah, it's quite serious work, right? So I study how to move it in one hand. And then later I start to involve my second hand. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. So there's the back of my hand, right? The other hand, my other hand comes in like that. And it moves the knife into it. So watch again. So it's like the hand slides up and it comes in. Watch again. It slides up and comes in. So if I'm here, the knife is behind my hand. This hand slides in and it's in the hand. Yeah. So it's behind my arm, close. The other hand slides. Yeah. Another little game to play. I have a reverse grip, right? The other hand comes on top, thumb down, and turns it. So it rolls and ends up in the hand. So this is one way of how to switch from one hand to the other hand. From one hand. So it comes top down, rotates it into my hand and puts it back. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. Put the knife on you somewhere. Yeah. Don't hide it. Just where you feel kind of comfortable, right? Now, in one nice motion, move it. And one nice motion, put it back. Try not to stumble. For you, it should be really natural. And it's important to look at this move, guys. Watch this one. Right? Usually before somebody removes a knife, if they're hiding it, there's a move and then the pull, right? So if I have the knife behind me, say I put it behind my back, there's usually a move and then they remove it. Okay. There's always like a person with a gun. There's a move and then there's an action, right? So you want to pay attention to the movement, right? So tomorrow, when I see somebody doing this movement, right? Where have you seen this movement? This movement is somewhere, not martial arts. Where have you seen that movement? Seatbelt, right? That's the movement. We pull the seatbelt, click it into the car, right? So, but do you see it anywhere else? As soon as I see somebody doing this, I'm already backing away. That movement is already registered in me, right? This movement, my back, this movement, as soon as I see this, I'm already moving. You need to train yourself to look for the signs of what happens just before it. Right? Just before. Stepping back like this means I'm pulling something deep from my, and this is not, if I had to get my wallet, it's just this. I don't do this to grab my wallet, right? So anytime I see somebody lift their shirt up like this, I already know this is the movement before some weapon comes out, right? Because it's usually underneath the shirt. They lift up the shirt, they pull the gun or the knife, and there it is. So any movement like this, who would do this? Anybody seen anybody do this at a mall like this? Like nobody does this, right? This is not a movement. Nobody shows, unless Miro, who has his belly button pierced. That's different. I know you want to show that off. I know. I'm sorry. So it's also good for you to see where you like to carry your weapon, right? Yeah, like where it feels very natural. And you know it's natural because you can grab it with both hands. Like for me, when I put it on my right hip, I can grab it this way and I can grab it this way. If I put it on my left hip, I can do this, but this doesn't feel as natural. And I've always that I don't know. This doesn't feel as natural because I've always clicked my seatbelt like this, right? That this movement, the seatbelt movement, is quite interesting. I can pull here pretty good. This is very comfortable, but this one not as much. So you always kind of look for things or places where you don't need to think too much. And you know, because I can pull it out and I can put it back without thinking, right? Watch, guys, watch. If you watch teenagers or where they put their cell phone, it's always the most convenient place, right? It's where they can get to it very quickly, right? It's some put it in their back pocket. I won't do that. That's not, but for me, it's more in my front pocket. It's very easy to get to. But some people like it back here. It doesn't, wherever you hold it where it's comfortable, right? That's our new weapon now, not a knife. They're going to write a review. Okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I understand. I know. So now you have to do this with a walk. So you start walking instead of and start to kind of pull, right? Put your knife away, walk around a little bit, and try to pull it while you're walking, right? It's different when you're in motion, right? It's one thing to stay still. It needs to be able to be done in motion. Awesome. You got it. You got it good. It's just you can when you watch the video again, you can kind of see what I was just practice it. Now, other thing you have to do. So when you hold a knife, for some strange reason, it feels like this you have to use it. And I like to train myself in such a way where I remember that I have other things that I can do. So even though I have the knife in my hand, I start to work with my elbow or I start to make a punch, right? So I'm holding the knife, but I'm not using it. I'll punch, I'll switch, I'll punch, I'll switch, right? And I start to kind of maybe kicking, right? So I start to make the only thing I'm doing is holding it, and I'm choosing not to use it, right? I'm choosing not to use it, right? Or I'll use it, but it's like a punch or something. Like I'm not using it as it's intended to be used, right? Try it a little bit. Yeah. So hold the knife. It doesn't matter where. Kick one way, punch, even holding the knife, but punch with it. And this way you start to remember that when you're using a knife, there's other options on the table. You can use your elbow. You can use this elbow. You can use that elbow. You can kick forward. You can, yeah, and you start expressing yourself. You're just holding the knife in your hand and trying not to use it or trying not to let it overtake you to use it. Yeah, so anything. Leg work, punches, elbow, boom, boom. Good, guys. Good. Now, some of you, I'm just going to walk over here. So I have a bag here at the club. I don't really use it much. I mean, I do use it a little bit, but not for the way it's supposed to be. So with my knife now, okay, I'm not like trying to like stab the bag at all. But what I want to do is I want to start saying to myself, if I ever do have the knife, and again, starting bridge over towards a little bit more reality stuff, maybe somebody else has made the choice of using it and wanting to kill me or whatever, they've lost their mind. But now I have a weapon, or I have my weapon, or I've taken their weapon. What will I do with this? So maybe they've made the decision, but I haven't made that decision, right? So I need to know what to do with this weapon. I don't just want to throw it away. It's a good piece of steel. You can use it, right? So I say to myself, what's another way I can use it? I've got the butt end, right? So I'll actually practice with the butt end, right? Different ways, different grips, right? Groin, ribs, face, right? You can start, and because I'm practicing it, I will remember it, okay? The other way you can use is the side of the knife, okay? So this is also highly effective, right? It's effective because I'm not using the point, I'm not using the sharp edges of it, but I'm using the hard spot, right? So forehead or nose, like somewhere here, chest, collarbone, elbows, ribs, jaw, top of the head, right? In many cases, one of these, like just to the top of the head, guys, it stuns a person, right? In their mind, they haven't been stabbed, but you've used the knife. In their mind, they've used it. Like you've used it. Like that's far too close for them to be comfortable. So understanding how to hit, or the on parts of the body is a good place, because I actually a lot of students that have trained with me have seen how much I use the side of the knife and use the butt end, right? Some knives have a hilt. They have this part here. That's also very usable. That's on my other knife. I have that. I have a good butt end and I have a good hilt. That's one of the things I look for in a knife, because I look for good weight and thickness so that I can work with the side. I look for a good butt end so that I can hit with it. And I look for a good hilt so I can use as well. This is highly effective, okay? Because I most likely won't use the stabbing or cutting motion, right? I usually won't, right? So I like to get into on a bag and just practice, like side of the head, top of the head, bridge of the nose, again, groin, ribs and elbow kind of area, top of the forearm, even right into the knuckles, right? So practicing using the side and also the butt end is also a thing you want to use, and from different positions, right? You can, like, under the chin, side of the head, top of the head, groin. Like, you want to think about the different parts that you can use and practice that. Okay, you have a question, Kay, at all? Looks like you have a question. No, you're good. Yeah, just play with all parts of the knife like how it's not intended to be used. Remember, you have two hands, so try to work with both. It's a good skill set to have. Okay. Miro. There you are. Ah, I see you. Okay. So as you can see, the way I 3/4 of my training is like is everything but the way you're using a knife. Is everything but. So it's like side of the knife, other side of the here, moving it around me like a non-martial artist, understanding how to strike and do other things while I'm holding a knife, not using the knife. Like again, mastery to me is a measure. It's not necessarily an ability. A master is a good at measuring their effort just enough, right? Again, think of that stunt car driver. Think of what makes a master. He understands the weight of the car, the friction of the tires, how to spin it. He understands to measure how much effort to make the vehicle perform in such a way that is really unprecedented. If you want to do these fancy things with the knife, or you want to be able to understand how to play with the knife, you need to practice what to do with it, right? This is practicing what to do. Now, stabbing, okay? You also need to practice precision. So if you're going to use the knife as it's intended, like a stabbing motion or slashing motion, you need to practice, okay? And it's always good to practice on a wall that you don't love too much. Like don't do it on your dining room wall, right? So I'm trying to, for me, I'm trying to go to a stabbing motion, and I've already picked my little spot here, right? So I'm trying to build some accuracy. I don't just want to lunge forward, but I want to be very, very precise, and I want to get there. And what I want to do is get there with some speed, and I'm only okay with a light touch. I'm not slamming into the wall, right? I want to just get there with like a millimeter to spare. So I'm building some accuracy. The same with these lines. I don't know if you can see the lines here on the camera. It's his line, and I'm trying to also do the same with my slash. So as the motion comes, listen to it if you can hear it. You hear that, right? Okay, so it's just before. I'm literally just a tiny noise. I'm not really like, I'm not totally going on it. This way you start to see, can I touch this spot? Like, do I have that kind of accuracy? Because if you are going to use the weapon as it's intended, you should be accurate with it, right? You should know exactly where it's going, whether it's a lunge, like whether it's a thrust or whether it's a slash. You should know, you should be able to measure it perfectly, okay? And that's trainable. You just have to train it. Just find something and go. Left, right, pointing, slashing, movements, and understand how to work with them, right? Understand how. So there's a line here, and a line here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And you start to see how I come up the line, I go across line, I go across line, come up. So across this line, across that line, up that line, right? So these kind of, let's say games, these kind of drills. So Karen, you can do that there, or Miro, you can do it there with, you can take a picture frame. Like, just don't touch the picture, right? You got to start to make motions with your knife towards them and get as close as you can and try to build up as much speed as you can to get there. Here, guys, here's a good example of some stuff you can do for training, right? So this is like, I don't know, it's like a pillar in the middle of the club. You see it there. So I'm just at the edge of it. Okay, I'm just at the edge of it. So here's a perfect example. It's a perfect measure for me, right? So I'm here and it's a right away. I'm trying to stay as close as I can, right? Whether it's down slash, up slash, right? You can see how close I'm in front of it, I'm beside it, I'm up it, I'm down it. And I'm really close, right? So I can see, am I far away? Am I hitting it? I want to get real close, right? So you can do that at